Have you ever thought about what it feels like to be in the middle of the year? Yes, sirree, boss. We are in the middle of the year of 2025, and that is making my brain just absolutely explode. I don't know how to feel about that, but we are here, and yeah, we're here to just enjoy the month and the year. Hello everybody, this is that Manga Dude, and welcome to a very interesting video, very specific video, one that I've never done before, but I kind of want to do for every year upcoming and throughout whenever I continue, however long I continue to do this, hopefully for a very long time. But we are in the middle of the year 2025, like I said in the intro, and that means we have had a lot, and I mean a lot, of new manga releases. There have been so many, in fact, that I just in 6 months alone, I have read 41 different new series to release in English, whether those are single volumes of volume 1s or good old-fashioned one-shots. It's been very interesting to even think about that. 41 series. Like, that's a crazy amount. So, I wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what I consider to be the best as of right now. So, 6 months, we've had 41, I've read, there's been way more than that, I have read 41 new series, and I'm going to be talking about 10 plus 1 honorable mentions. So these are my 10 that I think are the best of the best up to this point of the year, and hopefully you go and give them a shot as well. So, let's get started right now. Okay, so first off, I have I don't know why I said it's my honorable mention. And that's going to go to Fall in Love, You False Angels from Koko Uzuki. As of the time of this recording, there are 3 volumes out. I've only read the first 2, but this is a just hilarious series. I like it a lot. I love the art. Art is gorgeous. It's very beautiful. There's a lot of great facial expressions. The characters are very funny, and I just really enjoy these two as a duo in terms of being the main characters, as well as a potential couple. So hopefully they get together. I don't know. Maybe they do. But in case you don't know what the series is about, basically it follows a story about these 2 characters here, who are like the best of the best at their school. They're like the top of the class, always recruited for things, like really good at a lot of things. But they kind of have these like little secret sides to them, and lo and behold, they find out about each other's secret sides, so they decide to keep it a secret at school. And yeah, as the name suggests, it's about them kind of falling in love with their own unique selves. So very interesting. It's a very similar very similar premise to a series called Karekano. If you've never read that series, it's another really funny one. Kind of similar circumstances. But this one's great. I really enjoyed this, the first 2 volumes, and hopefully I continue to enjoy the series just as much as I do right now. Alright, going into the stack. Now, these are the 10 that I selected, and yes, they are all over the place, very, very different from all one another, but let's get started with our first one here, and that is going to be Beyblade X. Yes, Reboss. Were you expecting me to say Beyblade X? I bet you weren't, but this series is from Homura Kawamoto, Hikaru Muno, and Posaka Demizu. This is the most interesting set of people working on the series. The 2 story writers are the creators behind Kakegurui, and Posaka Demizu is the mangaka artist for Promised Neverland. So talk about a match made in somewhere. I won't say heaven, but it's just quite an interesting duo. Anyways, this series is all about Beyblade. Basically, it follows a story about this kid here. His name is Robin Kazami. He is a kind of like a rookie Beyblader. He's trying to get into it. He wants to become like the best of the best. And after he meets Blader X, who's this guy on the front, they form a team in order to basically try to take the new world by storm and take on the best team in the world. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward concept. Not gonna blow you away with the story, but it's just a lot of fun. Action's great. The art is fantastic, as you would expect from Posaka Demizu. I love the character designs. They're so ridiculous and very reminiscent of old school just series like this. So like Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously older Beyblade as well. It's a lot of fun. I don't know. I've been really enjoying it. There's only 2 volumes out at this time. There should be a 3rd volume coming out later this year as well. It actually might be coming out during the time I'm recording this, but really fun. If you like Beyblade, and even if you don't, I think you'll have a great time with it. If you do enjoy like these kind of like collectible games kind of stuff, this one's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. If you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh, definitely give this one a shot. Okay, this one totally blew me away because I had no idea what the series was. I decided to pick it up because it had a really cool cover, and I'm really glad I did. That is Kinryo Rock from Bingo Morihashi and Manabu Akishige. This is the actual prequel series to the, I think, the full Kinryo Rock series. So this one's called Moon Age Daydream, but basically it's all about like this world where I almost said zombies, where vampires and humans kind of live with one another, and vampires have a lot of restrictions on them, like they can't suck blood at certain times and things like that, or in certain areas as well. So it's pretty interesting. It's ridiculous. It's over the top. I can't open it because there is a lot of, there's not a lot, but there is a few parts of nudity, and the last time I accidentally opened it, and I flipped right to the page that had it, so I'm not going to do it this time, but it's really cool. It has a lot of great action in it. There's some great character designs as well, and a pretty interesting kind of like concept where it's like, oh well, the vampires are living amongst humans and they kind of have to stay human-like. So it's pretty, I don't know, I think it's really interesting, and I'm really excited to read the series as it releases, and it's really cool that it's from a newer publisher in the manga series, or the manga sphere, and that is Alien Books. It's a really nice release as well, so excited to continue reading this one once we get the rest of the series. Alright, another one that I really enjoyed, that is Hikaru in the Light from Mai Matsuda. This is also from a newish, well, let me rephrase that, a new publisher in manga, but a very old school publisher that you definitely know, Scholastic, the kids education publisher of all time. They are like, I still remember going to the book fairs as a kid. Regardless, this is funny because this is a series that debuted in a Seinen magazine, but it follows the story of our this girl here on the front, Hikaru, as the name suggests, who's always wanted to become an idol. She loves singing, but she's kind of like dejected because she feels like she needs to take over for her family's bathhouse. So she kind of has just resigned herself to becoming a part of that, taking it over from her grandpa and just singing her life away there. However, her good friend from back when she was a kid, Ran, I don't really know how to pronounce it, to be fair, is now quitting her idol group and is going to be a part of like this new, or is going to go to this like competition slash like kind of like new thing that's going on. So Hikaru is now inspired to go with her, and then they go to compete with one another. This one's really cool because it's in full color, which is so flippin' awesome. I love the character designs. I love a good old-fashioned, you know, like girl who's not necessarily supposed to be this like big star or whatever, and always just pushing herself, training, and just really trying to get herself out there. It's a really great series. I really enjoyed this first volume, and I'm super excited to continue reading it, and obviously having full color is super awesome, and this manga is affordable. For $12 you get a full color manga with some really great print, so that's just something to always look forward to. I really enjoyed this series, and I hope you do too. Alright, another series that's very similar, has to do with idols. That is Girl Crush from Midori Tayama. This actually has just released in the month of May, and, or sorry, the month of June, not May. May was last month. But this series, I actually haven't even talked about it yet. It's not even in any of the FBI, which it will be in the future, and it'll also be in the reading log for June. But this series is awesome. I mean, I just read this first volume just a couple days ago, and I absolutely loved it. And just to give you some quick concept about what it is, this series follows the story of Tenka Momose, who's this girl here in the front, who had a very tragic accident with her family. So now people kind of make fun of her as a kid when she's in elementary school, except for one boy who totally always is trying to get her attention and trying to be like, I want to be friends with you, like I don't care what's happened to you. So she totally falls for him, and she ends up trying to become better just so she can try to like use her feminine wiles, or whatever you want to call it, to get him to fall in love with her. So now they're in high school. She's considered like this like super amazing girl, great at everything basically, but he still is not like reciprocating those feelings, or like doesn't really show any kind of feelings towards her, other than just being a friend, until one day she meets a girl by the name of Erien Sato, who's this kind of like, as they say in like the description, which I think is kind of messed up, she's a dorky girl. This girl girl that's kind of quirky, kind of strange, but looks like she's really passionate about wanting to become a K-pop idol. So yeah, it's about their journey of kind of like self-exploration as well as pushing themselves to attempt to become a part of a K-pop idol group. It's a really interesting concept, and the art is phenomenal. Oh my goodness, so fantastic posing, some really great art just across the board. I love the character designs as well. They're really, really nice, and I just think this is a really, really great series. I'm super excited to get into this one. I'm hoping it continues with the quality that the first volume had, because I am genuinely extremely excited for this one. Alright, up next, another one that I just read, but this one like really struck a certain chord with me, and I really like these kinds of series that really gets you thinking. And I think Spacewalking With You by Inihiko Doranoda is that series for me. I have a feeling that this one is going to stick in my top 10 at the end, or my top 20 at the end of the year, and will definitely be in the running for quite a few things, I think, within my manga awards. But Spacewalking With You is genuinely fantastic. Follows the story of Kobayashi, who's kind of like this guy who looks like a delinquent, but it's really because he's extremely misunderstood. He really struggles to speak up for himself, and he has a hard time kind of remembering things he needs to like kind of be told multiple times. So a lot of people think he really just doesn't care, but it's mostly because he's just too nervous to ask for help all the time, because he thinks that he comes off as annoying or in the way. But one day he meets this kid here, his name is Uno, who is this loud, rambunctious, totally in your face, in a way, kind of kid, and just seems a little bit quirky, but they kind of start to become friends, and they start to learn things from one another. What makes this series so wonderful, I think, is that it has such a remarkable autism representation. Uno is autistic. They make it very obvious throughout the series, but I think they do it in such a tasteful way. They don't just be like, oh, this kid is blank, you know, like doesn't just kind of like blanket statement. They kind of show like what somebody on the spectrum goes through every day. Like they have to write down very simple things. Sometimes, you know, they can be really, really sociable, and sometimes they can be really, really quiet or more sheltered or more confined to themselves. So it's really interesting, and I think it's really well done. It makes for a very compelling story, and I love these two characters. They're really well done, really well written, and I am beyond excited to continue reading this one, and I really think that this is worth reading. I don't care if you like or dislike slice of life / coming of age stories. I think there is something to love with this one. Okay, into our second half. So this one is Stardust Family, the complete omnibus from Aki Poroyama. Talk about a really great series. I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. Basically follows a story about this alternate universe where Japan has basically passed a law where now you need to receive a license in order to become parents. So they have this pretty like stringent and very intense testing program where they have parents like take a written test, and a bunch of other stuff, and get interviewed, and then the last test is to send these children to live with them for a couple weeks, and then these children get to decide if these parents are deserving of becoming a set of parents or not. It's a pretty interesting concept, very thought-provoking, and really gets a lot of obviously like moral and ethics just thrown in there. But yeah, it follows the story of this kid here who joins this family, which seems to have kind of like a divisive feeling about wanting to become parents. It's very interesting. I really enjoyed this. I was not expecting to enjoy it as much, and because you know it says the complete omnibus, this is a one and done, so you'll be able to read it and be done with it, and I think it'll leave you with a lot to think about, and I like series that do that, especially for like one shots, and I think it's really well done. There's some pretty decent art as well. The characters are extremely well written. There's a lot of twists and turns as well, and a nice heartfelt ending, at least in my opinion. I think it's heartfelt ending. So I think definitely give this a shot if you're looking for more of like this kind of like mystery, kind of like a slice of life as well. I really did enjoy it quite a bit. Alright, up next, one of my front runners of the year, even before this year started, I talked about this in my most hyped series for the year, which is Life in Mongol. from Tomato Soup. We only have one volume out, but it was a fantastic first volume and totally blew me away. I've been really enjoying historical fantasy things recently, and this one is no different. So, follows the story about this girl here named Fatima, who was sold off to be a slave for this big, kind of like big family in the city that they live in. But after the Mongols invade, she becomes a prisoner of the Mongols, and now that she has like been kidnapped basically twice now, she's going to enact revenge against the Mongols who have kidnapped her. So very interesting, a crazy political thriller with absolutely gorgeous art, a really dark story, and one that you would not expect, with how kind of like interesting and how more how do I explain it? Kind of like old school cartoon kind of style, very reminiscent of Osamu Tezuka, an artist from that time, but really has its like own kind of level of detail and uniqueness that I think really sets it apart from those series. It's really great. I really enjoyed this first volume. If you're looking for a very interesting and intense political kind of thriller historical fantasy series, I think you will love this one a lot. Alright, up next, Pink Candy Kiss from Ami Uozumi. Yes, happy Pride Month, if you didn't know. This is a pretty interesting series. It follows a story about these two girls here, who are named Takara Itazaki and Emma. Oh my gosh. Takara Itazaki is this real estate agent. She works for like a real estate company, and is kind of like really just doesn't really care that her boyfriend slash fiance slash significant other just broke up with her. It's not really feeling like kind of anything, but after she re-meets one of her friends from back in high school, Emma, they start to hit it off once again, and there may be some harbored feelings from back in the day that are now manifesting once again. So it's a pretty interesting concept. There are, those kind of ideations of cheating, so if you're not a big fan of that, stay away from this, but this has some absolutely gorgeous art, really great characters as well, and a pretty compelling story. I think it's going to be one of those ones that'll get your thoughts moving and get you a little bit interested, and we'll see if it turns out to be messy, but this is really great. I really enjoyed this first volume, and I'm super excited to continue reading this one, and definitely one of my favorites up to this point in the year. Alright, one of the ones that won my FBI, that is going to be Wash It All Away from Mitsuru Hattori. I was not expecting to like this as much as I did, but this was a really fantastic first volume. Follows the story of our main character here on the front, whose name is, why am I blanking? Wakana Kinmei. She runs a kind of like clothes cleaning store, or like kind of just like anything that's cloth related. And it's about her living in this like kind of small town, and how she meets like the townspeople, and has been living there for a while. It has some really nice just like quiet moments. It's very peaceful, it's very light, just a really very much a breeze to read, and I really enjoyed this first volume. The art is absolutely gorgeous. There's some really silly characters as well, and I think overall you can enjoy this series no matter what kind of genres you tend to like. It does have some mystery elements as well, which is going to be great to see how it's tackled throughout the series, but I did think that this was worth picking up. And last but not least, because it is gigantic and I did not want to put it on top of all those smaller volumes, that is They Were 11 from Moto Hagio. Oh, wow, I really enjoyed this. This was really, really fantastic. This cover, gorgeous. This spine, gorgeous. This back cover, gorgeous. This release, amazing. I don't typically like these big releases, but I thought this was really good and really well done. Follows a story about these space cadets who are taking part of like this test in order to be able to go to like this really big fancy academy, and now their set of 10 gets sent off to this spaceship, and they must live there for 52 days. However, it's really weird because there were 11, as the name suggests. So this series is split into two parts. It has the first section, which is They Were 11, and the second section, which is the sequel series that kind of delves into what happens after that test. It's a really crazy, complex, but an absolutely amazing read from start to finish. There's absolutely gorgeous art, great characters, even with how many characters there are. And if you've been watching me for a while, I don't really like big cast, especially when they all get introduced very quickly. This one, however, I think does it so well. It's really easy to understand and know who these characters are, and it's just a lot of fun from start to finish. I was completely ecstatic to get it, and I am so happy that I did, because this was absolutely fantastic. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Have you read any of the series that I mentioned in this video? Let me know in the comments below. What are your top series that have currently released in 2025 that you think I should check out? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I will see you in the next one. You know what to do. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. Those are all amazing things. And thank you so much for supporting my channel. It's always means so much that so many people want to watch my videos. And I just really, really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.